All right, here we are again. Yay! Another Endymion video. Oh my god, don't y'all love it, dude? It's so good, dude. He makes such good takes on video games. It's so awesome. Oh, god damn it, bro. Oh, what's up? Anyway, sorry. What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Lil Makarov, aka Beat Toe. Oh, and we back in it, man. I hope y'all doing good today, man. I'm doing good. It's another day, man. Another day and another bullshit. Just that. Yeah, another day, another bullshit. No, but it's another day and we got some more bullshit to talk about today, you know? Like I said, my name's Lil Makarov. In case you don't know me real quick, I make reaction videos. I react to literally whatever I find interesting to talk about. Usually it's in the video game. Sometimes like music, like hip hop area, but I like to watch a lot of shit, right? So I forgot what I was gonna I forgot what to say. Oh yeah, so Endymion. So we've reacted to this guy before on the channel. He is very well known, I think, in the gaming community for his very culture war kind of videos. He makes a lot of videos about video games, basically really only talking about culture war stuff. I've showed his channel before. Literally most of his videos are like this game sucks because of DEI, or this no 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 no. All right, y'all. Okay. Okay. After this video, I'm gonna react to this video. I know where this is from because I've seen it on TikTok. If this is a video thinking where this is gonna be crazy. All right. Anyways, let's skip back to the topic at hand. As you can see from when I just showed you his channel, it's a lot of, like I just said, a lot of like culture war DEI shit. Literally, this video is called the thumbnail to this video is "Do or DEI." AAA gaming demands you accept not owning your games, whatever. What else? He's got Emma Frost, way too sexy. A Minecraft movie proves nobody cares about quality anymore. They won. Probably something to do with I don't know, the fucking DEI bullshit. They're dying, lost. It's just a lot of culture war bullshit and a lot less of like, hey, this game is cool because it's a cool game, and a lot of just like, this game sucks because of DEI, or this form of media, or this movie, or this game sucks because of DEI and bullshit. So, yeah, that's kind of who this guy is. He annoys the shit out of me because he just does. He just bitches to bitch pretty much. So yeah, he made a video talking about a new game called Marathon, which I apparently am very excited for, which is a stark contrast to what most people on the internet are actually saying about this game. A lot of people actually are not a big fan of Marathon at the moment. A lot of people are just saying it's very generic and it's very boring and whatever, and I happily disagree. I'm very excited for Marathon. I think it looks fantastic, and I think it's going to it's going to be a really dope game, dude. I think it's definitely taking a genre that a lot of people don't give a fuck about, which is extraction shooters. And I'm sorry, if you play Escape from Tarkov, I'm standing on what I just said. Nobody gives a fuck about that game. I'll be honest. It is. I'm sure a lot of people play it. But I'll be honest, as far as like mainstream games go, because I play a lot of mainstream games. And I guess I would consider myself a mainstream gamer. Nobody's playing that shit. Nobody's gonna be playing that shit. And I think this game is kind of, and I'm not saying that to shit on Tarkov. I'm just saying it's a very hardcore kind of extraction shooter. For a long time, I thought Tarkov was a milsim kind of game, which is why I didn't really get into it. This game seems like it's gonna take that same genre of extraction shooters, add that hero shooter element where you have like different classes that have different abilities and stuff, and then what do you call it? And mix those two together to give us something, to give us like some like a kind of a new experience. And it's Bungie that's developing this game, which they have a lot of history, I guess, with not doing good to some of their audiences. Like, I think the biggest one is Destiny 2. A lot of people complain that they're kind of mistreated over there by Bungie. But from what I know, Bungie's made a lot of good games. They made the Halo series, which, I mean, even though I don't like Halo all that much, I think it was a good franchise up until like Halo 5 and then Halo like Infinite. And then they also made the Destiny 1, Destiny 2, which I was never a fan of Destiny, not because it wasn't a good game, but because I wasn't a big fan of looter shooters until recently I started playing it. And actually, I realized I missed out a lot because this shit's actually super fucking fun. But I was just a kid that was just always playing Call of Duty. That was my thing. So, but yeah, so they're making a new game, called Marathon, and yeah, we're gonna see what's going on here. We're gonna see why Endymion already doesn't like it. He named this video Marathon proves nobody wants this sort of game anymore. I could only imagine what he's going to talk about. So let's just get right to it, man. We're already 6 minutes in this intro. I'm sorry. So let's just get right to it, man. Let's play.
Marathon is the newest game from storied studio Bungie that has created some of the largest and most prolific first-person shooter experiences in all of gaming. Sure, they didn't invent the genre, but they have left their mark with games like Halo and of course Destiny 2. Recently, Bungie had a big media blowout event, revealing the game fully with gameplay, snazzy trailers, and more. And the internet's reaction has been, well, let's get into it. Will Marathon be the next Destiny or Halo? Or will this become 2025's Concord live service dumpster fire that's just waiting to happen?
I just want to say this real quick. I'm so annoyed and I'm so over people constantly comparing a new game to the older games. It's so stupid. And this is why I feel like a lot of games fail off rip, because you already set them up to be something as fantastic as fucking Halo or Destiny, or something as fucking trash as fucking Concord. It's so stupid. Like, you don't even give... The game isn't even out yet. And like I feel like people just don't give these games enough time to flourish into their own thing, and then they end up failing outright. And I really don't... I don't know. It's so annoying, because I wish... I already did that. Okay. It's so annoying because it's like you're setting this, like, when people start talking like this, where they're like, is this game going to be the next Halo? You're already setting it up to expectations that it probably is not going to meet. And that's okay. Like, literally, not every game can be Halo. And not every game can be Call of Duty or whatever. You got to let the games ride and do their own thing. And the game, from what I've seen, the gameplay looks cool as fuck. But... anyways.
The uninitiated, Marathon isn't just Bungie's latest project, it's a revival of their FPS trilogy from way back in the day. It was pretty much like Doom, but with better storytelling. There were AIs with attitude and enough lore to make even the Destiny historians pretty confused. Fast forward to 2025, and Bungie's rebooting it as a PvP extraction shooter that's set on the planet Tau Ceti 4, hopefully I said that right, where you play as runners. These are cybernetic mercenaries that are looting a creepy, abandoned colony. Think Escape from Tarkov meets Destiny's gunplay with a side of acid trip visuals. Sounds dope, right? But here's the kicker, and really the cause of concern for me, especially as I watched the reveal and read the articles about it, which is that Marathon is going to release as a premium title in a sea of free-to-play games. We're talking no single-player campaign, no co-op story mode, just you, a squad, and a ticking clock to grab loot before rival teams or AI bots turn you into digital confetti. Sure, it's bold, it's risky, and to be real with you, it's got the internet kind of in a full-on meltdown. First up, the big one. Marathon is a live service game, and the internet's got trust issues with that. Look, Bungie wrote the book on live service when it came with Destiny, but they've also fumbled the ball in the past. Remember Destiny 1 and how the entire campaign was pretty much gutted before release? Or Destiny 2 with the whole sunsetting fiasco and more. Fans are worried that Marathon could be another grind-heavy cash grab with more microtransactions and a mobile gacha game, and then this comes from GameSpot. Bungie's Marathon is a polished extraction shooter, but that might not be enough. The biggest comparisons I've seen for Marathon is Escape from Tarkov meets Destiny, and unfortunately a lot of people are also comparing it to Concord as well. This is mostly because the game's visual style looks very experimental and dare I say weird, where every character looks like a mismatch of Destiny's various weapon groups like Future War Cult, and I don't know if it's just me, but the whole game looks like it's inspired visually by how the Nine look in Destiny. How everything the Nine is involved with just looks weird and ethereal and, well, I guess alien-like, maybe that's the point, and then the Concord comparison doesn't really...
I think for me, I think that's the point. I mean, that's, bro, this is the trailer I saw for it, and it completely grabbed me, bro. It looks cool as fuck. It has like that, like, it has like that techwear kind of like vibe to it. I guess that's the best way I could put it, because I'm also a big fan of like techwear style and shit like that. So that's what, like, this game kind of reminds me of that, and that's what immediately grabbed my attention. On top of it being in outer space, and like it's very like alien, very foreign, very like very futuristic. It's very interesting, and that's where I feel like this game has an edge over something like Tarkov. Which, even though yes, Tarkov has been out and it's got its players and stuff like that, I'm not a big fan of like the super grounded experiences anymore. I feel like they're really overplayed. It's kind of why I don't like World War games anymore, because it's too boring, or like modern games. I guess you can. When I say modern games, I mean like modern style games where things are just kind of set in like today's time, or at least look very similar to today's time. Which I guess back in the day when I was a kid, that's probably what I wanted. But now that I've had it so much with like Battlefield or Call of Duty, or I guess you got like the game like Tarkov or whatever, which again I never played it, but just looking at other people play it, it's just not something I'm interested in. It's very boring. I really do find the more grounded experiences really, really boring. So this, when I seen this and it was super futuristic, super different, really odd. That's what I kept saying to my friend, because he's the one who put me onto this. He told me to watch the trailer. I was like, this game is very odd. It just looks very odd, and like I wasn't trying to say it in a bad way, but like it was just odd looking. Like it was very different, and that's why it kept grabbing my attention, was because I kept saying it's just weird. It just looks weird, and I'm very interested in its weirdness. But yeah, you see, this is what I'm saying though. Back to what I was saying before, how he's like, oh yeah, if you want to get an idea of this game, it's basically Escape from Tarkov meets Destiny gunplay, and it's like, again, like it's an extraction shooter, bro. Like it's so annoying when we just start comparing games to other games. It's so stupid. Instead of letting them flourish, like you could just say it's an extraction shooter. This game is probably going to be nothing like Tarkov, and it might be its own thing that's going to be dope. It's like, bro, that's like when people were saying when Warhammer was going to come out, when Warhammer Space Marine 2 was coming out, they kept saying, oh my god, it's like Helldivers, it's like Helldivers, it's like Helldivers, and it's dead ass nothing like Helldivers. The only reason why it was compared to Helldivers was because it was a horde shooter. But you could just say horde shooter instead of trying to compare it to a different game. It's just when we start talking like this, I feel like we kind of start fucking over these games and putting an expectation that they might not meet, or maybe they do meet and they go over, but it's stupid. We gotta just it's an extraction shooter. The game is an extraction shooter that has like hero-based shit with it, because you have like different characters.
Help either, since we all know how that game turned out. Also, the fact that the game is also part hero shooter, since every runner that you play as also has a set amount of abilities in their kit, just like Overwatch, Rivals, and yeah, even Concord, sadly. Granted, this is Bungie we're talking about here, and if anyone is able to make a live service game be good to some degree, it's probably them. Sure, they fumbled in the past with Destiny. I mean, Curse of Osiris was absolute ass, Lightfall was disappointing, and so on. But they've had many high points with Destiny too, from taking...
Really? I don't know, bro. Again, I don't know. I'm coming into Destiny as a new player. I'm doing Lightfall right now. Pretty cool. I like it. I don't know, dude. I don't know. I like it. I think it's cool. I think it's fun. Especially with the green strand shit, how they added like a whole new subclass and shit. Like it's I like Lightfall. It's pretty dope.
Contained to Forsaken as well. I have no doubt that Marathon will play and look great, because Bungie, in my opinion, has never released a game that was genuinely and not fun to play. At least the game's gunplay looks very Destiny inspired, and I wouldn't be surprised if they reused a lot of the same assets. People even pointed out that the runners that you play in the game use similar hand movements and such from various subclasses in Destiny, but I mean, that's a non-issue in my opinion, because development studios have always reused assets and animations between their games. Dark Souls and Elden Ring are technically two different franchises, yet they use the same weapon icons, movement, and even the way you attack with certain weapons all feel exactly like Dark Souls when you play Elden Ring, yet nobody complained about that, right? The point is that the DNA of a studio's legacy will obviously spill into whatever they make next, and because of this, I have high hopes that Marathon will, at the very least, play well and feel good when you pull that trigger and shoot things, just like it does in Destiny or Halo. However, that's not really the issue I personally have with Marathon when it comes to any of this. Okay. It's actually pretty much everything else, if I'm being honest. Some say that this could tank Bungie and kill them for good. I wouldn't go that far yet, but the fear is real, because extraction shooters live or die on their replayability, and if Marathon's loot loop feels like a 9-to-5 job, players will bounce off of this very fast. Plus, after Sony's Concord crashed and burned, I mean, it was like $400 million down the drain with that one, people are kind of just side-eyeing anything with live service in the pitch, and I mean, who can blame them? As GameSpot put it after 8 hours hands-on with the game, putting it plainly, I'm worried Marathon could launch as a solid multiplayer shooter that is brimming with potential, but thin on content. And in the dog-eat-dog world of multiplayer games, that could be a major issue. Marathon's game director, Joe Zegler, was interviewed by GameSpot and said that...
Well, isn't the game also in alpha right now? Like, we're not even in the beta for the game. I'm pretty sure it's still in alpha. So like, I don't think it's anywhere near being done yet. I don't know. Like, this is why I don't like having full on opinions on video games when they're not even in their beta yet, because at least the beta demo is usually like, all right, this is kind of where they want to release the game. Now we kind of start having our worries. We're in alpha. Alpha demos are usually just like, here's the game, does it run? Kind of a demo, you know? So I mean, like, I don't think I would put too much weight on people being like there's not a lot of content in it, because, or if there's not a lot of content in it yet, because I mean, it's probably something they're working on that they're going to add later on. I think they just want to see if the actual gameplay itself, does it actually work? Does it run? Does it mesh well? Does it feel good? And then they'll probably add like content as it goes before it actually releases. I think it's September it's said to release. But yeah, just keep that in mind when people are talking about this game. It's they played an alpha version of it, so we're very early in its life, I still feel like.
This about the game. For us, the opportunity of an extraction shooter really comes from two parts. One is that we have a team that's very excited to build it, but we also have this idea of how do we create the next step of Bungie, but also harken back to some of the PvP roots that Bungie originally had with Halo and things of that sort. We're also doing something quite crazy, experimental, if you will. We're trying to build a service that's like a PvPvE game where we can do a lot of the cool storytelling things that Bungie really does, but do it in the context of a game where a lot of the content is driven by players interacting with one another. I think that nexus of things really makes us very excited to create this experience for players. So the gist of Marathon is that it's a game where you drop into a map with your squad, and then you're tasked with finding things, then getting to an extraction point, and then living long enough to get back to base with those things in hand. From what GameSpot says, the things that you'll be collecting, they range from crafting materials to weapons of various rarities, so the game has Destiny-like weapons like legendaries and exotics, I guess. I'm honestly not really 100% sure, to be honest with you, because wouldn't rarities and weapons, if you're able to extract them, mean that you can then jump into a future game with better weapons than your competition? Wouldn't that in theory throw the balance out of whack? If, say, some newer players then fight you and your weapons and your gear hit way harder or have more ammo or better effects than they do? I know games like Fortnite have rarity levels to their weapons too, but the added bonus there is that the weapons only exist in that match and it's all random, so anybody can find anything. So maybe that's how this will all go instead, or perhaps the rarities are just cosmetics that you can place on your weapons to show that you got some legendary skin for whatever weapon you're using, I guess. Like I said, the actual messaging around Marathon, if you haven't noticed, is very, let's put it simply, it's kind of a mess, guys. But let's...
No, from what I've seen and what I've heard, is that Bungie is trying. So what they're trying to do is like when you fully extract and you have your loot, right? Unless you have like a purple or a gold in this. I don't know what the actual colors of the rarities are. I'm just going off of what exists. So like purple being a pretty high tier gun, and then gold is usually like your legendary super dope gun, whatever. I think it's just supposed to be, so rarity could literally just mean in this game like like, there's only one gun that's like this, so it's rare and you have it and it's dope. But from what I've heard is that it doesn't even matter, like, what I heard, the main thing with this game is it doesn't matter what kind of rarity of what kind of rare gun you have, or how kitted up, how much loot you have, whatever. They're trying to make it to where even if you're fully kitted with like dope ass shit, dope ass guns, if you don't play your cards right, you could still get destroyed by somebody with a pistol, because it's just skill. It's all about skill and about how you're gonna plan your next move. So I don't know if, I don't, like I said, that's what I've heard. I don't know if how that's gonna actually translate in the game, but if that's something that they're going to try to do, to where it doesn't really matter if you have a gold gun, can you use that gold gun, or is the person with the pistol that he just got better than you? Because you can have all the good weapons and shit. You could be kitted out as much as you want. If you don't, but if you get outplayed or out whatever by somebody else with a pistol, that person still has an equal chance of eliminating you based off skill versus just I have better loot than you. You know, so I don't know if that made sense, but so, it's supposed to be you can have the good loot, right? You're supposed to extract with good loot. You can have great loot, but it doesn't mean just because you have gold everything that you're gonna fucking walk down every map. Sometimes you just get outplayed, you know, because maybe you're not paying attention or you make a mistake or whatever, and you get outplayed by somebody. You could still get outplayed by somebody who has worse weaponry than you. It's all based on skill. I'm assuming the better gear does make it easier for you a little bit to play or whatever, or two engaging gunfights, but it's at least supposed to be equal. That's what they're saying. I don't know how they're going to translate it, but that's what they're saying. I'm interested to see how that's going to actually play out in this game, if that's going to be a thing.
Let's be fair, at least. Bungie's nailed live service before. Destiny 2's expansions like the Witch Queen and the Final Shape did well for the company, even if post-Final Shape most players left. If they bring that polish to Marathon, we might be eating good. The question is, can they balance loot, progression, and monetization without making us feel like we're funding their next yacht while playing their new game? Next, let's talk about the genre. Extraction shooters are hot right now, but some folks think the market is as crowded as a Black Friday sale. You've got
Are they?
Tarkov, Hunt Showdown, and now Marathon wants a piece of the pie. The internet's like, Bungie,
That's 2 games, and we're saying it's loaded like a Black Friday sale? I don't think I'd say that. I think that's why I'm very interested in Marathon, because I'll be honest, extraction shooters are not popular, and they're not what's hot right now. I don't know who's playing extract. Maybe I don't know. Maybe, no, I am a gamer. I play games all the time. Bro, I don't think anybody's really playing extraction shooters. People playing extraction games, you can say like Repo or like Lethal, like but those aren't extraction shooters. I think extraction shooters, you only named like 2 games, and I only heard of one of them, which is Escape from Tarkov, which is still a very niche video game. And then Hunt Showdown, is that what you said? I've never even heard of that game. So I don't think so the idea that extraction shooters are packed, or what's hot, or it's oversaturated genre, I don't think that's a thing.
why not a new Halo, or maybe Destiny 3? Why would you do this instead? And the concern is that extraction shooters are, let's be real, they're pretty brutal to play. You grind for loot, you get sniped by a camper, and then you lose everything you just did. It's not exactly casual Friday material. I think the big barrier to entry here is that Marathon looks to be a highly competitive squad-based shooter game, which may be great if you're a streamer who has other dedicated streamer buddies who can also know-life the game and play it all the time. Then sure, you could be having a blast playing it. But we need to realize that these sorts of games do need the lifeblood of casual players to survive past a month or even a year. And when the frame of your game boils down to you running around aimlessly for 20 minutes, then you find something cool, and then some guy who hasn't showered in 5 days just snipes you in the head, and then you leave with nothing, yeah, that's not going to feel pretty great. According to Bungie, currently during their play...
Oh, I mean, bro, that happens. It's not just an extraction shooter issue. That's a battle royale issue. And let me tell you, people still will queue up and play the next match. People love battle royales, dude, and that happens all the time. So, I don't know.
Test that Marathon survival rate is supposedly under 50%. And that's an absurd coin flip if you ask me, that you're confident more than half of your players who are going to be playing this game, their experience will mostly just be what then? Dying, only to reload into a new match and die again? According to Bungie, currently during their playtest, that Marathon survival rate is supposedly under 50%. And that's an absurd coin flip if you ask me, that you're confident more than half of your players who are going to be playing this game, their experience will mostly just be what then? Dying, only to reload into a new match and then die again over and over and get pretty much nothing? And how long until...
It's also because people are just, I don't know, people are brand new to this. Whoever played it, whatever people played it are all brand new, so they all don't know what the fuck is happening. So yeah, I'm not surprised a lot of them don't survive in their matches quite often because they're still learning the game.
Those players just have enough of it and go, this whole extraction shooter nonsense is stupid, and then they just move on. Because I tend to think very likely, if you ask me, still Bungie's got a secret weapon, which is their gunplay. If Marathon feels as crisp as Destiny's pulse rifles or Halo's battle rifle, it could stand out. Plus their art style, neon colors, blocky industrial vibes. It's giving Borderlands if they were to throw it into a cyberpunk blender. If they nail the vibe and make losses less soul-crushing, this could be a banger. But if it's just Tarkov with extra steps, I'm not so sure. Speaking of Borderlands 4, by the way, Marathon releases the same day as that game too, and if you ask me, to the casual first-person shooter player out there, Borderlands 4 is going to be a far more viable and enticing purchase over that of Marathon, because what would these casual players want? A game that has a single-player story mode where they can progress and tinker with their builds and clear quests and not lose their guns or whatever because some guy snipes them. Or a game like Marathon, where if you don't have a squad who puts their real lives on hold to play it, you're basically operating at a loss out of the gate.
And then people play Borderlands 4 for like 3 months, and then they don't fucking put any new content in it, and people are gonna be like, oh wow, Borderlands is so fucking boring, this game sucks, and they go play something else. Like, it happens every time. This is why I don't take people seriously when they're like, whoa, all we want in video games is a single player campaign and a multiplayer, because those games don't stay successful for long. They don't keep their players for long. It's the same praise, again, going back to Warhammer Space Marine 2. It's the same praise people were giving Space Marine when it was coming out, other than using Space Marine to shit on Helldivers at the time, because Sony was doing their whole taking Helldivers away from like a bunch of countries and then forcing people to sign up with a PlayStation account. So there's that. But other than that, people were like, oh, Space Marine 2 is going to be just like the old games where you have a campaign and you have a multiplayer and then you have, and they're adding a PvE mode. Oh, so cool. Which, I mean, don't get me wrong, I was one of those people. I was excited. I still play Space Marine from time to time, not often, but I do. But yeah, and it came out just the way I just said it. It had its single player campaign that was like, I don't know, maybe like 8 hours long, if that, 6 hours, honestly. It had its multiplayer, which I think probably had like one new map come out since the update, and then a PvE mode, which had one new PvE mission come out since its release. And people's complaints were, "Where's the content? Where's the content, dude? This is bro. We already grinded. I already beat the campaign. I already did all the PvE missions. I already got all the all the armor upgrades. I got all the drip for all the classes. All the guns are upgraded. Where's the new content? What can I wait for?" And you know what these motherfuckers said over there? The people that made Warhammer? Here comes Space Marine 3, guys. And people lost their shit. Like, this game just came out. You haven't even released a bunch of content for it. Because it's not a live service game. They don't release content for those kinds of games. They maybe had a couple of things that they were going to release after the fact, but that wasn't going to be a year-to-year thing like Destiny, where they constantly release expansions and shit like that. That wasn't going to be Space Marine. But that's what people wanted. People got what they wanted out of Space Marines. They got their campaign and the multiplayer. And people got bored of it. They kept the crap. Where's the content? Where's the content? Again, this is why I feel like gamers just don't know what they want. They ask for games with they ask for old games like that. They get it, and then they cry that there's no content. And then there's a live service game that is going to constantly flood and give them content. And then they're like, "Well, no, we want a single player. Where's the single player at?" You can never please these fucking people, dude. And again, Borderlands 4, I'm gonna be honest, I feel like Borderlands 3 left a lot of people not happy with where the Borderlands franchise was going, and I don't think people and also Tiny Tina's Wonderland or whatever. I don't think a lot of people like that. So I can only imagine where Borderlands 4. Borderlands 4 is not gonna. I don't think Borderlands 4 is gonna be as good as people are trying to make it out to be. I could be wrong, but all right, I'm gonna do this real quick because something tells me with the way Borderlands 3 was, I want to see if Endymion ever made a video about Borderlands 3 before we continue. Because I don't know, I have a stinky feeling that he had quite an opinion over Borderlands 3. If any, if he even made a video. Okay, no, it doesn't look like he did. I see, because a lot of people didn't like Borderlands 3. All right. He passed the check. He passed the check. He didn't make a video. I thought I was gonna catch him making a video shitting on Borderlands 3, because a lot of people back when it came out were definitely shitting on Borderlands 3 for having woke humor and like bullshit like that. So I was trying to see if he also made a video saying some shit like that, but he didn't. So all right. But anyways, let's keep going.
Probably doesn't help that Bungie has confirmed via PC Gamer Marathon won't have proximity chat because it would be way too toxic. Oh boy, here we go again. According to Joe Ziegler, the game director, it's to create a safe space for players, but here's the thing you're operating...
I mean, I'll be honest. I mean, they're not wrong. Dude, Call of Duty prox chat is already crazy, bro. And I mean, I'll be honest, there's no point in doing prox chat when most of these games, when they do prox chat, have an AI bot or whatever that's constantly monitoring what you're saying. So if you say like one wrong thing, you're going to get chat banned. And now you can't even use prox chat anyway. So it's like, fuck it.
Rating within a genre of online shooters that are pretty much built around such a concept like this. And again, this just feels like corporate handholding if you ask me. Asmongold actually chimed in and said this: proximity voice chat is a lifeblood of online shooter games. Removing it to protect the feelings of mentally ill Twitter-toned policers is a mistake and actively works against the best experience for the majority of players. I agree with him.
It quite literally is not the... Prox chat is not the bloodline of online shooter games. Again, really not. Most people don't really use prox chat, and even when you can barely say anything because you're going to get banned for it. You can make a complaint about that, you know? Like, prox chat kind of sucks because you get banned for saying even the slightest of wrong things, and that's a real complaint. But I don't know. I don't really think prox chat is that big of an issue, but I mean, I understand that. I guess I can understand why you would want it in a game like this because it would make it definitely way more dope. You know, where you're like, you actually, especially if you want to talk about immersion, like, you know, like you actually have to like, oh shit, you have to shut the fuck up because you're, you know, you're chasing a group of people, you know, and you don't want them to hear you, you know. So I mean, like immersion wise, I'll give it to you, but I think most games with prox chat don't work
on that one. I think the more hand-holdy you are with your audience, the less likely they're going to like it. And to then claim that proximity chat is disabled at default is just a bad idea. It should simply be on by default, and then there should just be a toggle in the settings to turn it off if you really don't want it. But to simply shut it down like this, yeah, another red flag in the myriad of red flags plaguing Marathon right now. It's not just the proximity chat stuff. People have also noticed that Bungie is, well, there still seems anyways to be doubling down on the whole identity politics stuff even to this day. Because during one of the Marathon surveys, I assume this was to get into the alpha that Bungie had, there's a part where they ask you if you are male, female, non-binary, transgender, or not listed. This irked a lot of people online, and understandably, the internet kind of just mocked Bungie for it. Simply because this sort of stuff has largely been abandoned and rejected by the general gaming populace almost completely in 2024 and early 2025 already. People are just sick of this stuff, and if you ask me, when a company adds something like this to their surveys, it's more a filtering test than anything else. It almost seems as if you're more likely to get into that alpha for Marathon if you just downright lie and say that you are transgender or make up something and put it in the non-listed category instead. So the more unique and inclusive you seem, the more likely you are to trick Bungie's PR teams into giving you a code.
I mean, probably. My homeboy did say, Bungie, that when he wants to do some of his games and shit, or whatever he wants to like get alpha keys or whatever to play like new features in games and shit, he will put that he's a woman because he does get a better chance at actually getting a key when he says that he's a woman. So I mean, that hearing that and then hearing this is not, I mean, hey, I get it, but I mean, I don't know. I think it's, again, this is that culture war shit that's just so stupid. It doesn't matter, bro. I don't care who the fuck plays the game. Just play the game and tell me how it goes. I don't fucking care if it's a guy, a girl, a transgender person. I don't give a fuck. Just play the game and tell me if it's good or not. Like, I don't know. I feel like this is such a nitpick. It doesn't really matter as far as the game goes, but
pretty much. And honestly, if you do sign up for the alpha, you should do that. Don't say you're a man, because I bet Bungie will reject most people who say that they're just male anyways. After all, modern problems require modern solutions, people. In this instance, we're all going to be non-binary, so we get that code, okay? And then once the game is out officially, then you can go back to being a male or a female, I guess. But you got to do what you got to do. But yeah, it is stupid that they even add things like this. And the fact that during their reveal, they had developers with their pronouns in their descriptions, like, come on, guys, can we stop doing this? It's not hard to...
it's such a stupid thing to harp on about, dude. I mean, like, are we going to start bitching at job applications for asking the same thing? Anywhere you sign up for something, most of the time, especially if it's like job applications or even surveys or whatever, yeah, they usually ask you if you're a man or woman or other. Like, I don't think it's that big of a deal
to look at this Christopher guy here and go, yeah, that's a dude. Because I don't know about you, but it's very obvious what Chris is to me. It just feels antiquated and really out of touch, and it just shows that despite the consumer base largely moving on from this sort of nonsense, that these development studios that all seem to exist in these liberal breeding grounds tend to just double down despite the rest of the world just laughing at them by acting like this. Because the real world is not just like San Francisco or California.
God, dude. God forbid a company wants to try to respect people. Jesus Christ, dude. It's such a non-issue to bitch about, bro.
In general, hate to break it to these sorts of devs, but it's true. But when you got your pronouns in your bio, it just makes people not take you, and by association, your game seriously either. So just stop doing this. But despite all the problems that Bungie has plaguing them from stupid pronouns or androgynous character designs, which also...
I'll be honest, and I keep pausing it, I know, but I'll be honest, dude. I mean, anybody who complains about seeing pronouns and shit on a profile or anything like that, it just makes me not take them seriously because it doesn't matter, bro. Are you dead ass gonna tell me that shit bothers you to your core so bad? Seeing that someone has to confirm or wants to show that their pronouns are he, him, or she, her, or they, them, or whatever. It doesn't fucking matter, dude. It's just, again, it's just so stupid.
Have caused players to raise their eyebrows. By the way, the character designs are why there's a lot of people comparing this to Concord, because the characters look, how do I put this? The best way I can describe what these characters look like to me is that they look random, like they're both generic, yet as if Bungie just told an AI computer to generate a character in a video game, if that makes any sense. These characters look like if Destiny's newer character designs got smashed together with the aesthetic style of like Watch Dogs 2, if that makes any sense to anyone. I'm not saying they look terrible, but I gotta be honest and say that the character designs definitely don't speak to me in any meaningful way, especially...
Hey, I like them. They definitely do give you that like weird AI kind of like feel to them. I'm not saying that like, oh yeah, their AI made the characters. I don't know, but I'm saying they give you that like weird, uncanny like feeling when you see them. Like, I don't know. I think they look cool as fuck. Like, this chick definitely looks cool as shit. I like the way she looks. I don't know. That's how I feel. I like the designs.
When you compare how Marathon looks as you've been seeing this entire video, and then you compare it to how it used to look like back in the day, which looks far more in line and interesting to what Bungie is known for. I guess every live service game needs to have a weird, unique art style now to stand out. So I can't say that I'm that surprised, but the whole game just looks weird to me.
Bro, I don't know. The old game, bro, I can't... You want to tell me uniqueness, bro? You put this game in front of me, I cannot tell the difference between this game and OG Doom. They look the fucking same.
Interesting to what Bungie is known for. I guess every live service game needs to have a weird, unique art style now to stand out. So I can't say that I'm that surprised, but the whole game just looks weird to me. But again, who knows? Maybe in the future they'll add better alternate designs for the characters and such. But there's also the other big elephant in the room, which is that if you ask me, Marathon is kind of Bungie's last chance at doing really anything going forward. Bungie's been through the ringer. Layoffs in 2023 and 2024 hit them hard. Hundreds of devs got let go and their morale tanked. Then there's a Sony acquisition in 22, which has fans worried that Bungie lost their indie soul, so to speak. So the internet's kind of whispering, is Marathon even going to ship? Reports from Insider Gaming say the development's been rocky, with playtests showing promise, but the character models are still looking like they're weird PS4 assets. The point is that Bungie is kind of on their last legs here, if I'm being honest, and they need to deliver an absolute banger of a game. And frankly, I don't think the extraction shooter angle was the way to go here. At the very least, Marathon should have had other game modes present as well. Because even Fortnite and other live service games have expanded beyond their core game modes. Yeah, okay, you got Battle Royale in Fortnite, but you also got Ballistic, which is your tactical FPS version, for example, that's there too. And if you ask me, Marathon is a big WTF when it comes.
Well, mind you, it took them fucking years before they started doing other game modes, like big team deathmatch or Ballistic or whatever. So I mean, like, again, you gotta give these fucking things a chance. And again, we're talking about a game, by the way, that looks like this in alpha. Alpha. We're not even in beta. This is the alpha or pre-alpha, whatever it is, but it's not the beta. So it means this is like the early look of the game. Bro, this game looks fucking crazy for it to be an alpha. I can't wait for the betas to come out and people to test them. Who knows? They might add even seeing how people are complaining about game modes now. Shit, they might fucking add more game modes onto the side of this as well. But you gotta give these fucking games a chance to fucking flourish. I'm just impressed that it looks like this in an alpha state, though. I'll be honest.
Comes to what they're offering versus what they're demanding in return. In case you didn't know, Marathon is not free to play. It will be, as Bungie puts it, a premium title, which has, like everything else surrounding this game, come off as a bit of a mess. As Bungie said here, Marathon will be a premium title. Marathon will not be a full price title. We'll announce details this summer. Okay, so what does that mean exactly? The game is not going to be free to play, but will be a premium title, but won't be full priced. And in today's landscape, that full price.
So that's probably like $40 or $50. It's not bad.
Range is kind of nebulous as well. Nintendo is raising game prices to $80 American digitally and $90 physically, so Marathon could cost what then? $40, $50, $60? Technically, none of those are full price, but even then, asking $50 to $60 per player is a big ask in today's markets. I made the same point a long time ago on this channel. The video is delisted now, I'm pretty sure, but when Battlefield 2042 came out, I talked about how that game was going to die because it was a full-price game that just offered multiplayer at release. And even back then, the competition to Battlefield were all basically free-to-play games outside of Call of Duty, who just justifies their price point with a campaign and stuff like zombies. But the point of the matter is that if you're doing a live service game these days, you can't be asking players to buy into it like this. Let's be real, guys. Destiny.
So Battlefield failed not just because it released with only multiplayer. Battlefield failed because it was so goddamn broken when it dropped, and that's my biggest thing. Is I'm tired of the games coming out in such a broken fucking state every time. It's so stupid. That's what I get annoyed by. And I'm tired of these games releasing in a broken state for full price or whatever, and then as the game lives, then they want to actually add updates that fix the game. That is the shit that I don't like. Because if you're going to tell me you're going to release a game, I don't care if it's free to play or full price, it better at least work. Like, it better be, gameplay-wise, fully fleshed out and good. Content-wise, we can worry about content later. That's fine. And you can make a little roadmap and do your thing. But just game itself, I better be able to load into a match. I better nothing like if there are glitches, it better be small shit, but it better not be nothing that's game breaking. Nothing. My characters better not no clip. I better not fucking lose the ability to lose my weapons because I'm T-posing and I'm stuck in a T-pose for the rest of the game or the rest of the match. Like, that's the shit I get annoyed by, and that's why Battlefield failed, because Battlefield was so incredibly broken on launch, where people weren't able to even get into lobbies sometimes. A lot of the fucking weapons weren't working. Just a lot of shit was not working when it came out. That's why it failed. And by the time it actually fixed, they fixed it and got it to an actual working state, well, it was too fucking late. It's the same issue with Cyberpunk when it first came out. Now, back in the day, I fucking shit on Cyberpunk for doing this shit. How it released in a fucked up state. How they promised it would be for the old consoles like Xbox One and shit, but really it was only optimized for the newer consoles and shit, and it was so broken. You couldn't really fucking play anything. You couldn't do anything in the game. Some people's saves would just get corrupted and completely break, and I shitted on Cyberpunk the whole time. I was like, I'll never play this game. And now that it's been a years since that's happened, where they've added update after update after update to fix the game, and it made it, and they turned it into something fucking fantastic. Why give it a shot? And it's one of my favorite games of all time. Adding on to it, it's the same thing with fucking No Man's Sky. Fuck, dude. When that game came out, what was it, 2015, 2016? I don't remember. But when No Man's Sky came out, bro, it was also promised to have full-fledged multiplayer in it. It was supposed to be a dope-ass space exploration game. That game did not have multiplayer when it came out, and it was so incredibly broken. It was dead-ass broken and missing features on launch. And again, I shitted on that game, rightfully so, as we all did. And now what happened? Dude, they've released so many games where it is arguably one of the best, in my opinion, the best, actually, space exploration game you can play ever. Better than Starfield, better than any space exploration game you can name to me. No Man's Sky is better. But, again, it took them a long time. I hate that they have to release a game in a shit state and then fix it over time. I don't like it when games do that. Make the game as it's supposed to be at launch and then make content later. That's my thing.
Destiny 2 has gone free to play as well. Sure, Bungie forces you to pay for expansions, which has worked to some degree for them, even though the final shave basically crippled them internally and led to mass layoffs after Bungie missed their profits by 45% back in 2023, if you remember that. And let's not forget that while Bungie didn't make the game, Halo Infinite over at Microsoft also launched as free to play as well. And even then, the game struggled to find a core audience after 343 Industries, now called Halo Studios, hasn't exactly made a compelling Halo experience yet for players. So if the two biggest franchises that Bungie has made have, in their own ways, faltered, failed, and kind of unraveled themselves, as the entire industry changed how they perceive and engage with live service online multiplayer content going forward, the fact that Bungie believes that they can get away with making players pay for Marathon when the majority of their competition, even if they're not extraction shooters, aren't doing the same thing, you have to wonder if Bungie is setting themselves up for complete failure again, because Concord launched at $40 American, $40 Canadian, and nobody bought the game. It was a PlayStation first-party title and has gone down in history as the biggest failure in Sony's entire existence when it came to video games. Sure, yeah, the game's character designs run inspired political slop with pronouns and bio and everything else, kind of like what Bungie is doing with Marathon, I'm just saying.
I'll be honest, dude. Pronouns again, I don't think it's such a non-issue. The character designs, though, looked like shit. That is an issue. I hated that. This was the only cool guy, and that was a stretch. I still don't like the way he looks, but it looked better than this dude and looked better than this chick. So, no, their character designs. I will fully say, if they just had better character designs, even if the maps look like this, I think Concord would be successful. But the character designs absolutely killed the game, just outright.
I guess Sony thinks if anyone can replicate what happened with Helldivers 2, which was also a so-called premium title that retailed for $50 Canadian at release, it's Bungie. However, in Helldivers 2's case, they catered kind of to a similar extraction shooter-like experience, but the difference was you didn't fight other players. It's a PvE game pretty much. Yeah, okay, you can shoot people by accident or on purpose, I guess, but you get the idea. Maybe Sony thinks that Bungie can strike similar gold here. You ask me, they would be far better off just going free to play from the get-go. Look at Marvel Rivals, an absolute juggernaut that hasn't even existed for a year yet and has already had something like 40 million players. And let's be honest, if Rivals asked you to pay $40 to $50 in order to play it when it first came out, that game would have flopped already. And look, Rivals is a quality game. I enjoy it a lot, but even with arguably one of the biggest IPs in the world and Marvel being the crux of your experience, Disney and NetEase still had to go free to play to ensure that the game would exist and have a healthy player population months later. Even Overwatch had to adopt a free to play model despite when the first game came out in 2016, it was also technically a premium title. So why was it okay for Overwatch to cost money but Overwatch 2 did it? It's simple, because the market has changed completely since then. And the fact of the matter is that you need to adapt.
Well, it's also because you can't play Overwatch 1 anymore. So, I mean, it's rightfully so. I think they were very smart with making the game free to play, because if they made me pay $60 for Overwatch 1 and then we're like, hey guys, we're making Overwatch 2, but Overwatch 2 is going to completely take over Overwatch 1 and you still have to pay us $60 to play it, I would be like, you can suck a fat fucking dick. I'm not playing your shit. And I think that's a sentiment with a lot of Overwatch players. So I think they're very smart. I think they had to make it free to play. You think Blizzard wanted to make this fucking game free to play? Hell no. But they knew it would be such a fucking big issue if they made you pay for this game twice. It would be such a big issue. So they were smart for that. But this is one of the few times I do agree with Endymion. I don't mind a $40, $50 price tag, but I do think the game would be a bit more of a safer route for them to take if they just made it free outright. I understand maybe why you don't want to make it free outright, because it is a risk to have a free-to-play game when you spend so much money on a game initially just to make it free and then, You know what I mean? And then you're just kind of like hoping people just play it, and so you can add like microtransactions for them to pay for, and then that's the way you make your money. It is a risky business model. So I understand if they won't do it, but I do agree I think it would be better if they did make it free to play, especially if it's going to be a live service thing. So I'm assuming they're going to add like drip and shit later on, so you might as well just make it free to play, So that's actually one of the few times I do agree with the Endymion. This is unfortunately very crazy to say.
with the times, or you get left in the dust like Concord was. Which is why when you look at the large amount of live service titles either already out or thriving or soon to be released, pretty much all of these games have one thing in common: they're all free to play. So when your competition is basically zero barriers to entry, and here you go and add a paywall while also confirming that your so-called premium title, not fully priced game, will also have battle passes and skins to buy at launch, it just comes off as a big no thanks to most players. Why would I want to play your game if you're then going to want to charge me upwards of $20 plus for a single skin in your game too? How can one skin reasonably cost almost half the price of your entire game that you just sold to me? It's absurd. If Sony wants Marathon to have legs in this fight, they need to remove the price entirely and completely switch the game to a free-to-play model. Players are going to be far more likely to buy into a battle pass or skins if the game is free at the get-go. Then, if you find your audience, maybe then you can offer a subscription-like service like Epic does with Fortnite Crew, which has its own bonuses attached. But this old archaic way of let's sell people a game in an already niche genre of online shooters that most people are frankly not as interested in, versus the whole battle royale or just 6v6 multiplayer map stuff, yeah, it's a big ask if you ask me. Personally, I don't care for extraction shooter PvP games myself. I'll admit it, okay? I'm a casual person in these space these days. I used to be far more hardcore about it when I was younger, but now I could care less. I play Rivals exclusively with my girlfriend, and we just play quick play. We've never played ranked because we genuinely couldn't care less. We just want to have fun, man, and make jokes while playing is all. The only other online game I play is Fortnite, again with friends, and never ranked either. I don't care about raising through the leaderboards or something. These two games are not my job or my life. I just play them to have fun. If I die, cool. Who cares? It's a video game. So when you tell me that your new game will both cost me money to buy into it, but will also put me at a major disadvantage if I play the game solo, it's just a hard pass for me, if I'm being honest. Which is unfortunate, right? Because it seems like a cool world to me, but like Destiny, it's a world that I would want to live in and explore my own pace, but instead the only way I can play it is this one game mode that I'm not really interested in, where some crazy streamer is probably going to farm me for clips so he can put it on TikTok. It just doesn't really speak to me is what I'm saying, and look, maybe I'm all wrong about this and the game will be amazing for Sony and Bungie. Lord knows that Bungie needs a win right now, if anything. But once I remove myself from the initial reveal, I honestly feel basically nothing once it was all said and done. But I hear you saying, holding the pitchforks, Bungie's been here before. Halo Combat Evolved was a mess until the last minute once they shipped it, and then it changed gaming. Destiny launched shaky, but then became a juggernaut. I know. The gameplay reveal did show tight shooting and wild environments and all that, but maybe, just maybe, they are cooking something special here. Okay, I will admit it. But here's where it gets weird. So OG Marathon fans probably are kind of pissed about all of this because the original trilogy had a deep story, rampant AIs, alien invasions, philosophical vibes. And then here's the reboot, zero single player, it's all PvP and PvE extraction with no campaign to tie it all together. Look, I get it. Marathon's terminals were peak 90s storytelling. Reading, creepy AI rants between firefights was a vibe. But ditching that for a loot chase feels like trading a novel for a slot machine instead. It just feels and looks nothing like what the original was meant to be, you know? And to be fair, according to Bungie, they will be dropping lore through environmental storytelling. Think Dark Souls, but with more robots. The reveal hinted at puzzles and boss fights and secrets on that planet that you play on. So maybe...
Yeah, I was gonna say this, but they're probably gonna... I mean, if that's what they want is the lore, I mean, I'm sure they're not just gonna take the name Marathon and completely just say fuck all to the lore and be like, yeah, no, we're not. We're just gonna do something wholly different. I'm sure they're gonna add a lot of the lore that's probably in the old game throughout this game's life cycle, like they said, through environmental storytelling. So as you play through the map, you'll probably see shit if you were a fan of Marathon from back in the day that that you'll be like, oh shit, cool, that's in the game. But I'll be honest, nobody has heard of Marathon. I think it's a very few people that probably actually heard of Marathon and actually heard it long enough and loved it a lot to I think it's very few people that actually know it enough to know the lore or to make a big stink about the lore. I'm not saying that their complaints aren't valid. I'm sure they're valid, but I'll be honest, it doesn't really matter that much. I think it's a good thing that they're... I don't know. I haven't played the original Marathon. I just think this game looks great. It looks crazy, bro. I'm excited for it.
If they weave in Marathon's weird AI vibes, like give us a shady Cortana cousin, it could work. Still no campaign to gamble when fans wanted Halo, with extra existential dread instead. But credit where it's due, Bungie has been known to add weird cryptic puzzles in their raids within Destiny and all the weird ways players had to figure out things to get new exotic weapons too. Remember the whole wish system in Destiny 2? Yeah, Bungie is known for weird stuff, and I bet that you'll find similar weird things in Marathon too. And Bungie's also promising cross-play and cross-save, so you can squad up on PS5,
nice,
Xbox, or PC
cool.
without having to think about it, which is a big plus in my book. And the risk-reward loop, stealing another team's extract at the last second, sounds like pure chaos. In a good way, maybe, but will it be enough to keep players invested in the long run if the core game mode doesn't resonate enough? If Bungie nails the balance, fun over frustration, style over grind, this could be a good time, no alcohol required, but they gotta deliver or we might see the next Anthem or Concord happening in front of our very eyes. So where do we land? Marathon's a high-stakes bet. I think we could all agree on that one. The internet's worried about live service greed, extraction fatigue, Bungie struggles, and a missing story. It's all fair points. Bungie's not untouchable, and the genre's a minefield, but the hype is real too. The art looks good, the gunplay's tight, and Bungie's got a track record for pulling off clutch wins. My take? I'm cautiously interested, but not fully sold myself yet. Marathon could be a fresh twist on extraction shooters, blending Destiny's polish with Tarkov's tension, but if it's a soulless grind, fans will riot, and this could very well be Bungie's last chance before they close up shop for good. So whether Marathon, like its name suggests, becomes something that can keep going or falls down and dies immediately, I guess we will see. We got a while till it releases. It's currently set to come out on September 23rd, 2025, again, same day as Borderlands 4, which is still competition considering they're both first-person shooter games. If I had to guess, Borderlands 4 will come out on top, probably, and it will be the more safe choice, or bet, if you will, for players when it comes to picking a game to buy when these two inevitably release. But with Bungie taking a franchise they're known for and then removing the single-player element for that live service chase instead, can it be enough to save the studio? And I guess my question to you is Marathon something you want to play? Are you okay with its premium price tag, which we don't know exactly what it is yet, or is it a hard pass for you? Let me know in the comments. Thank you for being here, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.
Yeah, I would say, yeah. So, I mean, look, I'm actually not too upset by this video. I actually thought I was going to disagree with him a lot more. I thought he was going to rage about this game a lot more. He didn't really mention too much about DEI either, which is he kind of tricked me with that one. He definitely baited me with that one because he said DEI or die or something like that, and so, or do or DEI. So I was like, oh God, what could he have seen in this game that is DEI? So, but all right, I think it was more of like a bait to get people in to watch. So I mean, hey, I respect it. But no, I mean, we seem to agree, kind of, that it looks really dope. It does look really dope. I don't know. I really don't have too many complaints about what the game looks like so far. And again, my only complaint really is this idea that there's extraction shooter fatigue when you can literally name the most popular extraction shooters on one hand, less than one hand, which is two, escape from Tarkov and Hunt. Apparently, that's it. So I mean, I don't know where this idea of extraction fatigue is coming from, where there's only two games you can think of that actually have done it and done it very popular or made it very popular. So that's why I'm really excited for this, because this is going to be a company that I'm familiar with now. Definitely playing. I played Halo and now playing Destiny, and I enjoyed the gunplay in Destiny a lot. It's taking a company that is very well known, and now they're trying their hands at seems like a hero, like a hero extraction shooter, which is something I've never seen yet. I've never even heard of yet, which is going to be really dope. I mean, I'm hoping that as the game goes on, and I'm hoping that maybe through this alpha test, I'm hoping that they try to add more game modes, or at least they have game modes in mind already, and this was just hey, let's just see how the game goes. Let's just see if the game plays well, if the gun plays, as well, if people can resonate with the gunplay. Is it really good? Is it, whatever? And I'm hoping that's what this test is for. And now they're going to be like, all right, here's this other mode you can play. Here's team deathmatch, or here's an arena mode, or here's this mode. That's what I'm hoping they're going to add as we get closer to that September release date. And as far as Borderlands 4, I'm sure Borderlands 4 will definitely probably win as far as it going up against Marathon. But like I said, I don't think it'll be on top for very long. I think Marathon has a lot more potential from what I've seen so far for replayability, where Borderlands 4 I think will fall and crash and burn, especially since the last few Borderlands games have not been the best. But anyways, man, that's been me, Lil Makarov. If you enjoy this kind of content, make sure you hit the like, comment, and consider subscribing. I'll put the original video in the description below, so y'all check it out. And let's watch this other one, because fuck, dude, I'm not excited.